Your boy's sick, so don't mind my voice because it's time for the Big 12 championship between the number 1 seed Texas Longhorns versus the number 2 seed Oklahoma State Cowboys. Why is the OK State offense performing well? How is the Cowboy defense vulnerable? And most importantly, who is likely to leave with the championship trophy? After the show, Inside Texas is the spot to stay locked in with your favorite team. Insightful pre- and post-game analysis, non-stop recruiting updates, and the latest behind-the-scenes info is dropping daily. Subscribe to InsideTexas.com today. Link in the description. Texas has been waiting a long time for this opportunity, and a resilient Oklahoma State has powered through all of their setbacks. So who's going to come out victorious on Saturday? Without further ado, let's get into it. I have a lot of respect for Gundy. I think he's one of the most practical, realistic coaches in the game. His consistent success over time at a school with less resources is impressive. Despite the hand he's dealt, he just finds a way to remain competitive. And I don't think this is one of his better teams he's had in Stillwater. Yet here they are, always fighting. After a trio of rotating quarterbacks earlier in the season, one emerged as the starter and journeyman Alan Bowman. In his 6th year and 3rd school, I'm expecting more from him. He's 15th in completion percentage and 15th in yards per attempt in the league. He's thrown 11 interceptions to only 10 touchdowns, and he's more likely to make the turnover-worthy play than the big-time throw. He's not being asked to make super tough throws either, with a 14th ranked average depth of target, so this is underwhelming for an older quarterback. The offense is just trying to hit quick game most of the time. The one place where I think Bowman really does show some veteran awareness is he doesn't take sacks with only 5 on the season. He has an elite 5.9% pressure to sack rate. He's not going to take negative plays in that regard, and that also skews his completion rate because he'd rather throw it away than take the drive killer. Arm-wise, he's the 11th ranked deep ball passer, the 4th ranked intermediate passer, and the 14th ranked short passer. But he is streaky. One game, it'll be a 52% completion percentage, and the next game, it'll be 68%. It all just depends on which Alan Bowman shows up. Overall, Bowman is 11th of 19 Big 12 quarterbacks. But to be fair, the wide receiver room hasn't been smooth sailing. The Cowboy receiving room has gotten hammered by injuries, and it's forced some depth guys to step up. And they have. Due to an 11/10 personnel classic spread style focused on the quick game, it's a fairly consistent passing offense ranking 59th in success rate. They just struggle with hitting the big one, ranking an awful 117th in passing explosivity, and this brings their overall yards per pass to a poor 88th in the nation. First in targets is returning senior slot Brennan Presley. He's been a huge piece with 109 targets on the season. He's a smaller frame, 5'8", 175-pound speed threat that gets you on those quick in breakers, screens, sweeps, really anything that takes beating someone to the spot. 73% of his work is coming from less than 10 yards or behind the line, but they can slip him into that intermediate range to generate some of his bigger gains. Overall, he's ranked 25th of 50 Big 12 receivers. Second in targets with 78 is the 6'2", 220-pound Rashad Owens. He's had a long road, and he wasn't supposed to be the starter until Dejon Stribling went down for the season earlier in the year. But Owens sees the opportunity. He has good fluidity for that size, and it makes him the leading deep threat on the team, even though OK State struggles at that range. Gundy, always the pragmatist, has noted those woes and utilized Owens a lot in the short game as well to generate yards. Quick game stuff, getting him on the move underneath, using that body to shield catches. He's currently the highest graded of the OK State receivers at 18th of 50 total Big 12 guys. Third in targets with 47 is the most athletic of the bunch and outside receiver Jaden Bray. But he's been dealing with off and on injuries for years and he can't seem to catch a break. He's missed a few games late in the season and he's been slowly reintroduced into the lineup the past couple of games. He has a lot of promise, he just needs the chance to display it for a full season. Overall, Bray is 31st of 50 receivers in the conference. Another guy that wasn't supposed to play this year is Leon Johnson III, yet he has the 4th most targets on the team with 43. The former Division III All-American has awesome size at 6'5", 215 pounds, but he was supposed to redshirt so he could develop more refined route running and understanding. Injury forced him onto the field and he's done well. Since shorter routes require more precise footwork, he's not utilized at this part of the field often. He's best as a big target lurking over the middle or deep where he can sit in zone coverage or use his height to climb the ladder on smaller corners. He's the 24th of 50 Big 12 receivers overall. And finally, we have the tight end Josiah Johnson with 29 targets. And he's been reliable, catching 72% of his passes. He's there to catch the underneath stuff with the second lowest average depth of target at just 4.5 yards. He's a good safety valve due to that 6'5" catch radius, but since he's targeted for such little gains, he's the 15th ranked of 15 receiving tight ends in the Big 12. Due to having an older offensive line with a quick passing focus, pass blocking is naturally going to be easier, and that's displayed in the numbers. Right guard Preston Wilson is ranked 5th. Right tackle Jake Springfield is 31st, and center Joe Michalski is ranked 41st. So 3 guys in the top half of 85 pass blocking offensive linemen. As a unit, the group is doing well, ranked 4th overall in pass blocking efficiency. They have low sacks due to Bowman getting rid of it, low quarterback hits, average hurries, and average pressures. The run game is what you think about when you're scouting this team, but Oklahoma State actually runs it a relatively low amount with just 33 rushing attempts per game, but they make those count. They lack consistency with a slightly below average 70th ranked rushing success rate, but their explosivity is 12th in the nation. So it averages out to an impressive 5.1 yards per rush, good for 16th in the country. And you can have that weird distribution of numbers when you've got a baller at running back. And they do. Ollie Gordon is a dynamic runner averaging 6.4 yards per carry, good for 6th in the league. At 6'1", 211 pounds, he's a big, smooth runner with good vision who can navigate interior traffic. But he's most deadly on the outside where he can operate in space. He generates big runs all the time with a 57% breakaway percentage due to that acceleration and his ability to break tackles and make dudes miss. As an all-purpose guy, Gordon can be used in the open field or situationally on short yardage, and that's why he leads the conference with 20 rushing touchdowns. He's a problem in the screen game as well, so watch out for him slipping out of the backfield. Overall, he's the 6th graded running back out of 27 in the Big 12. The offensive line isn't the reason for Gordon's success. They're 111th in the country in offensive line yards per rush, and even worse in short yardage situations, with their rushing power success rate ranked 118th. Gordon is making plays despite the big boys. OK State only has 1 top half run blocker with left tackle Dalton Cooper at 7th of 83 Big 12 run blockers. The keys for the Texas defense, first and foremost, is to limit Ollie Gordon. This offense wants balance, and taking away such an explosive run game limits their options. Plug up the interior with Sweat and Murphy, and the ends and linebackers have to be on the lookout for Gordon trying to get outside where he's most dangerous. The Texas defense is 5th in the country in opponent yards per rush, giving up just 2.9 yards per carry, so they've shown they're up to the task. This is the 12th most explosive rushing offense versus the 6th ranked rushing explosivity defense. So something has to give. The pass rush won't be given the opportunity to make plays as often due to a short passing focus. But when Texas does get them into passing downs, you can force bad throws by Bowman that'll be functional sacks that can cause turnovers on downs or interceptions. If Texas does find success limiting Gordon, then Bowman and company have to win it for them. Bowman has the Jekyll and Hyde issues Spencer Sanders had of being hot one game and flat the next, while also putting the ball in danger often. Lacking explosivity also doesn't give them the easy out to score quickly. So Texas has to play closer to the line and rally to the short passes to keep them from moving the ball yard by yard, while also watching out for the intermediate ball in the middle of the field. Overall, this Oklahoma State offense is effective, ranking 42nd in the nation in the advanced metric OFEI, able to find ways to make plays when they need them. And with good coaching, the defense has a similar story on the other side of the ball. But before we hit the defense, the sponsor of today's video is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a skill-based daily fantasy sports app where you can make college football player projections all season long. How does it work? You select 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their prize pick projections. It could be passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, and more. And if those players score more or less than their prize pick projection, you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. Just hop on the PrizePicks app or website, go to the college football tab, and check out the player projections. It's a smooth process where you can make your entries in 60 seconds or less with fast withdrawals. It's that easy. As a first-time depositor, use promo code TexasHomer, and you will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. That's double your money up to $100 for your first time. So sign up for PrizePicks, use promo code TexasHomer at sign up, and add even more excitement to your game day. Link in the description. Oklahoma State is on their third defensive coordinator in 3 years, bringing in Brian Nardo. He's running a 3-3 scheme that has become the popular defense in the league. OK State are good at mucking up plays down to down with the 42nd ranked defensive success rate overall, but they do have a major flaw. As one of the worst defenses at giving up the big play, ranking 128th in the country in defensive explosivity. The rushing defense further illustrates that trend as they're 39th in defensive rushing success rate, able to stop the run down to down. But when they get out of position, it's going for a touchdown, with the 123rd ranked defense in rushing explosivity. In the run game on the interior, only starting nose Justin Kirkland is top half at 24th of 53 interior run stoppers. On the outside, starting end Anthony Goodlow is solid, ranking as the 4th best run stopping edge, but that's it for the top half. And then on top of that, the only top half linebacker is Sam Xavier Benson at 5th of 46 second level run stoppers. And the secondary is lacking also with only 2 top half guys. Starting safety Cameron Epps is 25th, and starting corner Cam Smith barely makes it at 48th of 100 DBs against the run. So not a lot of good individual performances here, so they have to rely on their coaching staff to put them in the right spot schematically. The Oklahoma State pass rush doesn't get home often, ranking 83rd in sacks per game, but they do absolutely still influence the play through their pressure. Starting nose Justin Kirkland is the only top half interior guy at 21st with 8 total pressures. At edge, rotational pass rushing focused in Nathan Latu is 3rd with 22 total pressures, 4 of which are sacks. Starting end Anthony Goodlow does alright, ranked 22nd with 19 total pressures, 2 of which are sacks. Where Oklahoma State is scary is their linebackers' pass rushing ability. Starting Will Colin Oliver is the first graded pass rushing backer with a crazy 37 total pressures and 7 sacks, followed by Mike Nicholas Martin at 3rd with an awesome 29 pressures and 6 sacks, with Sam Xavier Benson right behind them at 10th with 10 total pressures, 2 of which are sacks, out of 30 total pass rushing linebackers. That's all 3 starters in the top 3rd, so be wary of that group when you get behind the sticks. The secondary isn't sent often enough to meet the minimum pass rush attempts. And now in the secondary, we yet again see the defensive identity. Pretty good down to down, but gives up the knockout blow in pass coverage. 55th in passing success rate, but second to last in the entire country in giving up the explosive pass. This all averages out to the 125th ranked opponent yards per pass, giving up an awful 8.7 yards per throw. The linebackers continue to be the stars of the defense, with Will Colin Oliver graded as the best pass coverage linebacker. Mike Nicholas Martin is 6th, and Sam Xavier Benson is 17th of 46, so all top half once again. In the secondary, they don't have any elite guys currently, with only 2 in the top half. Starting corner Corey Black is at 17th, and Rover Kendall Daniels is at 31st, but that's it for the DBs against the pass. This is a weird defense that's so in line with Gundy. They can look incredibly bad at times, but somehow, some way, when it's the downs that matter, they make the play. They need stakes to activate. It's a weird but interesting psychology the team takes on. But despite the major issues with giving up the huge play, they are somehow the 26th ranked defense in the advanced metric DFEI. The keys for the Texas offense is don't let Gundy put his magic spells on you. He's one of the best coaches at making you play his game. There's opportunities galore versus this defense if you don't beat yourself. In the run game, Baxter and Blue have stepped in for Brooks and performed well. Oklahoma State can frustrate your run game, but you can cancel all of that out with a 40-yard run to put points on the board. Stay focused and wait for that hole to open up and then get home. In the pass, they can drop 8 and muddy looks, so Quinn has to be patient as well. But as one of the worst defenses against the deep shot, Quinn has to complete those bombs to AD and Worthy. Ewers had his worst performance ever versus another bad Oklahoma State pass defense last year. so there's redemption to be had. And of course, the biggest key is the Longhorns' Achilles heel of not scoring in the red zone, which can be a major factor. We have to find a way to finish drives. The goal this season was to make the Big 12 championship game, and we should be happy we achieved that. But Texas has the ability to win this one decidedly, if we don't let Gundy find a way to tilt the game back into his favor, which he has a profound way of doing. You've got a surging Texas team in the hunt for the playoffs versus a less talented but driven Oklahoma State team that would love nothing more than to add another Texas upset to their resume as we leave the conference. Texas looks like it's turned the corner finally, but now we get to find out for sure. It's time to see who's the best in the league this Saturday afternoon when the Longhorns and the Cowboys head to Arlington. Thanks for hanging out. Watch some more of my videos here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to support quality Texas content. As always, hook 'em.